Hello and welcome to Really Know Really, another, in spite of what you know. You got good vibrato. Let me hear your vibrato. Give me vibrato.
I'm doing an old Robert Klein routine.
What was the routine that Robert did as far as
What?
supernatural? Did he do a supernatural thing?
Robert Klein?
Yeah.
Oh, that was his signature thing. I walked into a thing, it was empty.
My favorite is Stephen Wright,
Yeah.
who said, "If everybody out there who believes in telekinesis, raise my hand."
Raise my hand.
That's a great
Right,
joke.
yeah, right.
So this episode is about ghosts and ghost hunting, etc. Because
Which, by the way, one of my favorite things. There is not our guests, but there is another ghost hunting show on television that when I'm out on the road, there are some strange smart TVs where I guess there's a certain program where a whole channel, if a show has had a history, it's 24/7. That's just that show.
Oh yeah, well by the way, Seinfeld.
You're absolutely that's one. But there's one that has a ghost hunting show that's 24/7, and I like a schmuck when I go, I can't fall asleep by myself. I'm not with my wife, and I'm out of town. I'm gonna watch something until I get sleepy, and it's always the ghost hunting show. And I know it's all a thing, but I'm riveted.
So that's a really good point. So the reason I wanted to make this a Really Know Really is I saw that 67% of Americans are now saying in 2022, I don't have a current 2024 reading, 67% said that they believe in paranormal experiences, which is up from a year before, up from a year before, up from a year before, and it continues to grow.
I'm wondering, in our now fully conspiracy theory embracing world, if people are just more likely to believe things that would have seemed a little hard to believe a couple of years ago.
And you know this because you're a magician, a good magician, but magicians and psychics use this too. They prime you. In other words, they did an experiment where they say, we're going to a theater, and this is an architectural theater. We want you to see the beautiful architecture theater. That's one group. The second group is we're going into a haunted theater.
Sure.
Which group saw stuff? The second group, a lot of them saw stuff. So you're primed. You're primed for it. The reason I wanted these guys in, though, you talk about ghost hunting shows. Shane and Ryan, the two guys that are part of this, that are the hosts of this.
Yeah.
Of Ghost Files.
The ghoul guys.
I love
the
these
ghoul
guys. Because one is all in and one is a skeptic. And there's nothing better. It's like us.
I've watched several episodes and it's great. It's really fun.
They're smart because they're
constantly looking at each other like, you buffoon.
And because of that, though, it raises the level because they have to try and get good tech that they can use that actually works.
Yeah.
And I'll let them explain how they came up with it and how the format of the show is really fun.
And I love how every episode is, what did we learn? I don't know. It's very similar to our show in a way.
No, I hope we learn stuff. One of the things is that we get along barely in every episode. So let's do
you think in death you and I will get along better? Will our pettiness that we have in life?
There is no death for you. By the way, this is pretty much it. You're killing me slowly by slowly. But I want to see what I want to do recaps with them of which they went to Alcatraz, they went to Hill House, they went to a lot of places that allegedly
they went to the big sanatorium
have ghost experiences. Yeah. And again, I think you're going to love, hopefully, unless they're a complete flop on our podcast. I think
what if it's all BS? What if they're all just full? Neither one of them believes. They never actually go. It's all green screen.
No, please. Why do you go there? Before they even come in, you're already in the gate. And welcome. And by the way, welcome
the ghoul guy.
Let's bring him in.
Really? No, really? Really? No, really? Really?
Ryan Bergara, Shane Madej, is that right?
That's
Madej?
right, yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Are the two guys who do Ghost Files. We fell in love with them because I don't believe in psychic phenomena. Jason kind of does. And the two of you, what you do that's great, all these other shows seem staged, may I say, because it's big money. You guys have found out, because I see you have 3 sponsors on every episode. There's big money in dead people.
There's big money in acting like you've seen a ghost when you actually
And by the way, what you didn't hear was the intro. I go, what's great is Ryan's a believer and you're a skeptic. And Jason goes, what if it's all BS? What if they're just saying? And I go, why don't you
what if
negate
even
them
that is
before?
a bunch of crap? What if they both don't give a damn? They don't believe.
That would be a long
One guy
time
goes, all right,
for-
I'll pretend I've been in
Quite the long con on our part.
Yeah, it's
for
a
Ryan
long-
to be sticking
But
with that.
what's great is that you go talk about how you got together and your
By the way,
format.
can I, before they start
Say
answering
hi.
questions, this plant is so like it's encroaching.
It's imposing
on Shane's entire thing.
So Shane, just
he may
push
not
it
be
down.
worried about
Knock
ghosts.
it over. Knock it over.
He's worried about
Is that
botany,
real, by the way? It's
gonna
not
be-
real, right? It's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move it
There
over a
you
little
go.
bit. That's
That's
fine.
like-
Totally fine.
That's
Yeah.
so
yeah,
much
see?
better.
Thank you for
It's
looking
like,
out for
now
me.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
good.
you're coming
We
to us.
actually had a
Yeah.
show called Between Two Rented Firms, and somebody else stole the concept.
I'm glad
So
he's
screw
very
it.
sensitive about his plant proximity, so I'm glad that you pointed that out. How did we come
What
together,
do you
Shane?
say, by the way? First of all, when you introduce him every time, what do you call him?
It depends what show. Sometimes I'll say my partner, my colleague. One show I call him that thing over there,
Over there. That I love.
Wait,
which is my
Lori's here.
personal
What's the matter,
favorite.
Moving the
producer
plant?
Lori?
Just gonna move the plant to 10.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, because
Uh-oh.
the pole is there.
It's for the poll.
Oh yeah, and nobody knows. Oh, now it's completely hidden.
Oh,
It's
man.
completely hidden. I would never know that curtain isn't being held up by a plant.
And by the way, you don't want to see the post. What you really want to
Yeah.
revel in is the $1.98 curtain. Oh, now we're moving the pole. By the way, you
Now we're
can't
flying
say
out the
pole.
plant.
It's a
This
trigger.
is
It's a
all
trigger.
worth it. This is fantastic.
We are going to talk about ghosts at some point.
You know
sorry.
what? Can I
No.
just
We're
point
talking
out
about
why they
plants?
get 5 million downloads and we get
Oh
6?
my God!
Oh my God! So you guys feel comfortable already? Thanks for
Yeah.
coming in.
I
Thanks
feel
for coming
great.
in.
Of course,
Now
it's
the
I
great.
couldn't
plant
let
Thanks
it
for
go,
having
but I
us.
could feel your discomfort.
I was sweating over here.
I know.
just
Ryan,
felt the
I think
leaves,
Ryan under his
yeah.
breath looked
I
at
get
us and said, "I see dead people." So how did you get together? How did you get together?
We started at BuzzFeed. We started at a company called BuzzFeed. We were interns together, and we came up with this show. And I guess the rest was history. Really, I guess that's
When
the
you did-
abridged version.
When you did BuzzFeed too, am I right? How many down? You got like 200 million down, 1 billion views. 1 billion, is that right?
I think more than that, but I'm not really sure. I don't really know the
Oh,
numbers.
I think
can
we got
settle
more
for
than
a
a billion.
billion,
I think we got more than a billion.
I was trying to say that in a way that didn't seem like. Actually, I think it was something more. But I'm not actually sure of the real numbers. But yeah, no, it was a while ago, and then we started our own thing over at Watcher.
Was the background? Because I'm trying to think of I read BuzzFeed articles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was your background journalism or performance?
Absolutely
No,
not.
definitely
No.
not.
How did you
No.
get to BuzzFeed? What were you pursuing?
Well, BuzzFeed at the time, they had just started a video department in LA because they were based in New York, started this little video outfit in LA. And they were essentially like both of us were editors by trade. Our
Yeah.
paths were weirdly similar. After college, we both kind of worked, like I worked at Public Access, did a lot of like corporate video jobs in Illinois.
Yeah, and I would film PowerPoint presentations over at USC Keck School of Medicine when people would give like presentations on irritable bowel syndrome and like sleep apnea, and I would just sit there trying not to fall
Don't
asleep
laugh.
behind
It's
the
a
camera.
real job, son. Come on.
Sure, no, I mean it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You have IBS and they use one of your things. It
And
can
I
help
know
somebody.
all the fine details about it. I
go.
could give the presentation myself now.
But that's cool.
The trend at BuzzFeed was like if you were an editor there, a lot of times they'd, because it was just they were pumping out videos left and right. So they'd be like, oh, come be in a video real quick. So we just ended up, if you couldn't find someone to be in your videos and you had an idea for something, you would just I just sort of started hosting them, and Ryan did the same. And then at some point, Ryan started doing BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was kind of like the predecessor to Ghost Files.
Yeah.
With a different white man named Brent, who was he's like me, but like in a different font.
Yeah, dude, he's the papyrus font version of
he's
you.
pretty similar to me. And after a handful of episodes, it was doing really well. And what was Brent was just like?
Yeah, it went for 10 episodes, and then one day he brought me off to the rooftop of at BuzzFeed, and he was like looking out. I just remember he was looking out onto Sunset, and he just said, "Hey, thanks for coming up here. I don't think I could do the show anymore." And I was like, "Wait, why can't you do the show anymore?" And he was like, "Honestly, I never thought it would be popular. I didn't think anybody will watch it, and now it's becoming a thing, and I can't do it."
Really? So he felt
He just didn't
uncomfortable.
want to be a public figure.
He did, I think it was partly that, but he was also like, the things we cover, they're so grim, they're kind of scary, and I don't really want to be a part of it.
Wow.
And he was like, "I'm sorry to do this," and I was like, "All right, man."
And today he's suing you, right?
No, we're actually
Very
good pals.
litigious, very
What was
litigious.
what was essential about the rooftop setting for that kind of
Dramatic.
situation?
I think he wanted to just kind of have like a picturesque background to
Did
just
you at
kind
any
of,
point think what percentage
Could have
you
driven
thought-
you down to Malibu. By, I guess.
I mean, if he wasn't my friend, I would have thought I was getting whacked.
I was
But
going to
Yeah,
say,
really,
aside from
I-
whacked, what percentage did you think possibly he could jump?
ooh, what percentage did I think he could jump?
That he was going to take you
Well,
up there and
that's
say, "I
where
don't want to do
immediately
this.
my
I'm
head
going
went
over.
to about,
I'm going over."
I thought it was probably at like 10%. He was a very docile man, obviously evidenced by the fact that he was like, these are very grim stories.
He didn't want it.
But, and then I was like, all right, fine. I guess I'll figure out another host. And I walked down the stairs, went back to my desk, and I actually sat next to Shane at the time. And I was like, hey, Brent just quit the show. I'm looking for a co-host. And there was just like a long pregnant pause. And I was like, you think you could do it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I need you to commit because this might become like a thing we do for a couple of years. And here we are like 8 years later. And he was like, yeah. And then he looked over at his Google Calendar and he scrolled like a couple months and he was like,
I got nothing Tuesday.
He's like, I'm free. Yeah, sure. And I was like, all right, we'll shoot tomorrow. And that was it. Wow. And that was 8 years ago.
And was that the thing that you proposed at that moment? Was that essentially what you're doing now?
Yeah, it was. So at the time, it was BuzzFeed Unsolved was a true crime show, but also a ghost hunting show.
Right.
And ghost hunting actually had not started. So technically, it was just the true crime show.
And those guys were not doing their thing yet?
Oh, no, they were doing their thing.
They've been doing their thing for quite some time. Okay. And we are aware of them, and they are aware of us.
Oh, I guarantee.
I keep trying to get Zach. Honestly, I keep trying to get a feud going with Zach Baggins. But we did a show in Vegas last year, a live screening and a Q&A, and I know he lives in Vegas, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, I really love your work, and if you're around and want to pop into the show, and he was like, oh, I'm shooting. I was like, it'd be fun to get a fake feud going.
Right.
And he was like, oh, I'm gonna be shooting, but I would love to. And I was like, all right.
I think if people looked at a picture of you and then a picture of Zach Baggins and thought, who would be the one to start a feud? I think everybody would not pick you, because generally my rule of thumb in life is to not pick feuds with people whose biceps are the size of my head.
Yeah.
That guy is jacked.
We'd like to take this opportunity to do a challenge to Zach just to see what happens.
Yeah. I'll keep putting it out there.
Sure,
Zach, if you want to get a feud going, we'll tabletop him or something. Two of us versus one of him.
I offered on Twitter to go on a thing with them, and he went, "You wanna?" I said, "Yeah, sure." I never heard from him again.
But. Oh, I'm sure he probably ghost hunting is very busy. He probably just forgot. I bet if you get back at him,
he's spending a lot of times in these houses.
He's going to Iowa probably. He's going to the back hills of Kentucky.
A lot of sightings. Shame you focused on this rather than true crime, because we really need a lot more true crime.
We sort of
a real gap in the content space for that.
We slowed down on the true crime after a while because we were like,
all right, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
So the premises, and I'm assuming, because I'm not as jaded as I sometimes come off. But Ryan, you basically are up for the possibility of there's something being there. And Shane, you're pretty legitimately just not a believer in this stuff.
Correct.
And so that is the premise. So in any given episode, for people that haven't seen it, you go to a haunted site. You want to just run down an average
run the format, because it's an
episode?
interesting format.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you pretty much nailed it in a nutshell. I believe in this stuff. I'm not even up for the possibility. I legitimately do believe all ghosts are real.
Say why. What happened to you?
I'll tell you my Joker origin story. I was on the Queen Mary when I was a teenager, and I actually didn't believe in this stuff. I was a skeptic. And so I, like any, excuse my French, Shane, D-bag skeptic, I would go on the boat and I was being kind of an asshole, and I was like shouting out for something to come after me, and nothing was happening. And then eventually throughout the night, small things started to happen. Like I got poked in the back, I heard like a little girl laughing, and then the sink in my room turned on by itself, and it was one of those like twist knob sinks, not like an automatic sink or something like that. And then later, when I was brushing my teeth, my toothpaste was sitting on this shelf, and I was sitting on top of a Ziploc bag, and then the bag moved, and then the toothpaste got kind of flung off the shelf. He tends to believe that it was just flung is perhaps a little bit of a hyperbole.
Well, the thing is, Ryan told this story for several years, and the story was always that the toothpaste flew off the shelf across the room.
I don't know if I ever said flew across the room. I said it got flung.
Point, he was like, my mom actually found the VHS, the camcorder tape of the toothpaste incident.
That's
right.
And
we watched it, and it's really just.
Wait a minute, you were running a camcorder?
Did your mom always film you toothpaste for brushing your teeth to make sure you did it right?
She made sure that he brushes his teeth.
I mean, beautiful teeth, but I mean...
My dad is a dentist, so...
I know, but Ryan, call us when you're ready to brush. We want to film.
We want to shoot.
This is what your family
It's hard for me to do without assistance, but I will say that I don't know if I said it got flung across the room and hit the wall.
You said it hit the wall.
I did not say it hit the wall. I just said it got flung, which if you watch the film, like the bag goes like this, and it does get flung. Flung is, up for interpretation. Could be flung a foot. It could be flung an inch.
Whatever the case, it was enough to turn him from a skeptic into a believer. And it's really fascinating because we've been doing this now 8 years, and we a lot of time when we meet people, they'll be like, well, obviously, like, you guys got to start like Shane, you probably believe a little more, and Ryan, and we really haven't wavered at all, which is fascinating.
No.
We've all gone to this. We've gone to the same places. We've witnessed the same things, but Ryan is even more steeped as a believer, and I continue to just be like, it's not.
Well, what's
not moving the needle.
hysterical in watching you guys, and it really is fantastic because it is so very real, and I understand both sides. I was watching the Alcatraz. I think it's the Alcatraz.
Yeah, when we went to Alcatraz.
And,
yeah,
you're going down the death chute or the body chute.
Oh no, I think you're thinking of Waverly Hills
Was that
Sanatorium.
Waverly Hills?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so Shane, you went first, and you're skipping to my Lou down this thing.
I have a great time with these places.
And he's like, he couldn't be not a care in the world, calling out the spirits, going, "Yeah, come on, come at me, assholes!
Yeah,
come
sure.
on, come get me!"
Yeah.
And just it is water off a duck's back, and then Ryan goes down, and you're like kind of me. If nothing was there, I'd go. I would make it happen. Somehow I would manifest something. And you go down, and it's like a really upsetting experience for you. And
Yes,
to watch
it really
these
is.
two things
Yeah.
back to back.
Well, that's the
juxtaposed.
authenticity of it, the sincerity of it. So talk about the format, because the format starts out with a call usually to say from somebody who wants you to go somewhere, correct?
Yeah, so we reach out to our audience and we say, hey, we are looking for a place to go investigate. And then some people will say, oh, go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium. And then we'll go, okay, does anybody have evidence from Waverly Hills Sanatorium? And then they will send in evidence, and then we will go and try and recreate that evidence at the site. But the kick is that I believe, and Shane doesn't believe in this
Talk
at all.
about the other thing that's just funnier than believe is the tech you're wearing. And the stuff you bring in. And also, I got to tell you, and then talk about the tech in a second, but I laugh every time Shane goes to a corner of a place that's supposed to be a ghostly apparitions, whatever, and goes, if you're there, I'm rolling a ball, roll it back.
It's really. Imagine doing that for 8 years.
Yeah, I do commend Shane.
It's great because we have a small crew. We've worked with a lot of the same people. We have a great time when we go to these places. But it's just truly crazy for 8 years to be a skeptic and someone who doesn't believe in ghosts to just walk into all these buildings and be like, all right, here we go again. But
I do commend you for that because, and he also does give me credit because people often say, "Oh, Shane, you're so brave."
Yeah.
When in reality, Shane thinks he's talking to dust. He doesn't realize he's not there talking to spirits.
Okay, to that point. So I did the Queen Mary haunting thing, which is okay.
Yes.
I didn't, so you stayed overnight on the Queen Mary.
We did.
yeah.
We actually were the people who broke in that horrible room there. I think it was called like P340 or something like that.
Yeah.
They didn't let people stay in there, and then they opened it up for us.
So we
and
did that.
we thought it was going to be like a room. And we get in there, and it's just a concrete like slab. We literally rolled out our sleeping bags next to rat hair.
It was like tumbleweeds of rat hair.
It
on
was
the floor.
really
Yeah,
crazy.
So to that, so we did the overnight thing, and for
Nice.
a radio station live, and and it's creepy just because it's creepy. You know what I
Did
mean?
anything happen?
We did Alcatraz. I've done some, and it's creepy. So you're unnerved a bit, but Shane, you're not on. It's not like I'm like you. I don't believe. I just don't believe in it. Sure. For a number of reasons. Okay. First of all, why are they wearing clothing? Do they reflect, but they don't reflect? They can pick up objects, but you can see through them. Everything is contradictory. It's like
I've explored all these avenues with Ryan.
yeah, it's the
over
rules
years.
that are all broken.
At this point, I don't even bring these things up.
He
I'm just
died on
like,
an operating table.
I
and yet-
don't have the answers. I don't know why they wear
Don't
clothes.
get
and they all speak cryptically.
Yeah.
This wasn't when you get defensive. I didn't say it's defensive.
Okay,
yet,
all
but I
right.
love that you are.
I'm like a wild animal backed into a corner here.
But my question to so you never, Shane, have gone to a place where you went, this was genuinely freaked me out?
There's been, I think.
I never get tired of this question.
The first time we did, because we didn't always do. Now that's sort of a staple at the end of our episodes. We go on our solo walks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The first time we did that, which was it?
It was at Penhurst Asylum.
Which is just this very old, disgusting asylum that I think is now not demolished.
Thank
right?
God, dude. One of the grossest buildings I've ever been in.
Awful place.
Just smeared with shit. Like literally.
Yeah, it was bad news. The first time we did a solo there, I remember being like, I don't believe in ghosts, but this, it's just staring down this empty hallway. in this dilapidated building. Very creepy.
Just hallways
So
that
for like the
disappear
first
in the dark.
I
5
believe
minutes
in rats.
I believe in rats. I believe in tetanus. I believe in brown recluses. So that first solo, I remember being like, I'm a little unnerved right now. And ever since then, cool as a cucumber. Truly, really. I think the only other places that have like, there's just places that bum you out a little bit. Where it's like a lot of places you go to and they're like, there was a woman here and maybe she it's always like these lore, like they're tall tales,
woman in white kind of thing. Sure. All these women
but then you go to
monochromatic.
another place and they're like, people were definitely murdered here, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's kind of sad.
So talk about the tech, because the tech makes me laugh. If you ever watch an episode, by the way, you get like 3 million average an episode viewers an episode.
Yeah, we're lucky that people actually watch our bullshit.
A lot of people watch your bullshit. But the tech, you guys are very specific about the old tech's not. We got the newest tech. You always get the newest tech. The thing that you hold up and it can connect the dots to a person.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
What
So
is
talk
that
about
thing?
that.
It's from an Xbox. Which is the trade secret.
No, here's the thing, though. I actually like tools that aren't devised specifically for ghost hunting. They actually have a real-world purpose. Like, this was a camera used for Xbox to detect motion. So, but it was also used for detecting motion in the dark, essentially, because it uses IR dots, and it forms a grid, and anything that, I guess, like, displaces that grid then forms the body, like the skeleton that
It
you would see.
resembles like a human body.
So that
Stick
is,
figure,
it's already proven to work on humans because it had to be, because it was, pushed out by a massive thing like Xbox. So then retrofitting that to use it for ghost hunting, to point it into the dark, into the void, and maybe there's a body that pops up. I think that's pretty compelling.
I think they're fun. I don't even spend my time on the.
Somehow
You
when
do
you have the
occasionally
mustache,
get-
it seems more sarcastic.
So
I know,
what
sorry.
is it that is so you would say, well, there's some sort of spectral being out there.
Yeah.
But what is the skeptic side that goes, what the hell is this thing that's looking like a human stick
I mean,
figure?
generally, it is a camera that is like looking for lines and shapes and trying to identify a human-like shape.
But
So if
sometimes it pops up in like a void
sometimes it does,
spot.
So, I think that's the other balance of our show, is that there are a lot, and to your credit,
Yeah, sure.
like when Ryan started BuzzFeed Unsolved, you were a big fan of a lot of ghost hunting shows,
Yes.
but he found that like there was never much of a balance.
Right, yeah.
It was always people being like fully believing, and
Right.
just every bump in the night they'd be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, it's just not compelling to watch two people in the dark sniffing each other's farts. It's just like after a while you need a little bit of like a push and pull.
Yeah. So I think that's, as the resident skeptic, I'm really just there because like I'm not there to spend the whole time trying to disprove these machines or the equipment that we use. I'm more there so that in the one instance in the future, if we ever see a ghost, if anyone who watches our show ever hears me say, I think that was a ghost, then we have definitive proof. Because I've been doing this for
Right.
8
You know,
years.
Okay, I'm watching you two. We have a really interesting relationship, Jason and I. We've been together over 30 years. Best friends, hang out. We've been through all kinds of stuff together, ups and downs and whatever. Sometimes we piss each other off, we yell at each other, but nothing ever lasts.
Yeah.
I'm watching Ryan look at you, okay? And I'm wondering if he ever gets to the point, or you got to tell me this, Ryan, where, yeah, it's funny, it's ha-ha, where you go, fuck, now I'm actually really annoyed with you right at this
Having
second.
a couple, having
It's,
a couple.
happened a
it's
couple
happened a
times?
couple times, yeah. But I think even though we're diametrically opposed, there is a kind of friendly polarity to it. There's like a mutual respect.
You hang? Are you
Yeah,
friends? So
yeah,
you hang, you go out. So with that though, sometimes it happens rarely, but it'll be like, fuck, you took me to a place. You get really, really, really pissed. Do you guys fight? I mean, because it's funny on the episode, but I haven't seen it devolve.
It doesn't devolve.
No.
It is sometimes it's dire straits when you're shooting, because we don't start shooting till the sun's going down.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting till like 3 or 4 a.m. sometimes. It just so happens we tend to shoot in the pit of winter or just like sweltering summer heat.
Yeah.
We just shot 3 episodes in the UK a month or 2 ago, and we were like, this is so wonderful and
It was beautifully temperate. It was awesome.
What a
Where'd you
dream.
go? What was it? What was
We went to Edinburgh.
And then we went to
for which thing? Which one?
Edinburgh Castle.
Not the castle.
No. We
There's-
went
there's
to
some,
the Blair Street Underground, and then we also went over
Chillingham
into
Castle.
Chillingham Castle, and then
The National Justice Museum.
yeah, so
in Nottingham.
all throughout the UK.
Yeah.
But we do get angry at each other every now and then. Only a couple times has it been caught on camera. One time, the first episode of Ghost Files ever, it actually happened. It was the first time we did this thing where, in BuzzFeed Unsolved, we would do this thing where it's like, okay, one of us will go into one room by ourselves and stay there for 5 minutes. And that was kind of like the ending of the episode. But for Ghost Files, we were like, wouldn't it be funny? And by this is an idea I came up with where I thought, sometimes I have to divorce myself from my actual self and I go put on my producer hat and I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I had to get locked in the building by myself and spend 20 minutes in there? And it's funny when I'm thinking of it on paper and then I get to the location and I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? But the conceit of the show was Shane would hide a walkie and tell me where it was hidden.
And then your time.
And then my time would start once I walkied back to him like, hey, I got the walkie. Now my 20 minutes starts. Right. Shane purposely told me the wrong location.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I gave him a clue.
You did.
Here we go, Jay. We're going to see the reenactment.
I put it on the 4th floor.
And then he told me the clue, which was the bottom floor, literally the furthest possible location from where the walkie actually was located. So he put it at the bottom of a 500-foot tunnel, or he told me it was at the bottom of a 500-foot tunnel, and it was actually on the 4th floor.
I lightly implied it could have been down
So, which meant I walked all the way down there. I'm literally picking up bricks, trying to find this walkie.
This place is huge.
It's enormous. It took me 30 minutes just to get down there. And then after a while of like literally lifting up bricks, trying to find the walkie, I call him on my cell phone and I'm like, hey, I can't find this walkie. I'm at the bottom of the body chute, the 500-foot tunnel. And he's like, oh, it's actually, no, it's not there. It's on the 4th floor. And I almost crushed my phone. I was so
That's also
angry.
a great moment in the episode because we rarely like break the fourth wall and show us talking to the producers or our director.
Yeah.
But Ryan called on his cell phone and he was like, "Where is this thing?" And I was like, I don't know. I guess you'll find it. And I like hung up, and our director was like, I think we should go tell him. And I was like, no. Let him go down there.
Because you also
when the episode ended, I was like, well, that was great. This is, because it was the first show we had shot for our new series.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to be a really good episode. And I was like, yeah. And then the next morning we were, packing up at the Holiday Inn and, heading to the airport. I was like, this could be a good one. And I was like, uh-huh. And I was like, he's still mad.
Here's the thing. You don't understand, and I think like maybe your listeners, like to give some context here, I truly am terrified to do this.
That's true.
Like it actually, like this episode, when I had to do this, it was the first time I ever had to be in a building by myself, like in a huge building, no less. I almost backed out because I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, I truly don't think I could do this. I'm going to have a heart attack. And I was thinking, like, what if I do have a heart attack? Are they going to find my rigor mortis stricken body somewhere in the building 3 hours later? Because this place is huge. It would take them forever to find me. And so when he told me the opposite location, and I had to then go find it, and my time had not started yet, right. I was livid because I was so scared. And also, to answer your question from earlier, does he actually get scared? In our new season of Ghost Files, to put that to the test, we actually put a heart rate monitor on us when we were doing these things, and you could see it live. His heart is so calm, and he's so not scared when he's doing these that the heart rate monitor is not even able to pick up his heart.
Yeah.
Like we thought,
I think it happened in every
You're like a human
episode.
quaalude. You're my God.
he's like Brad Pitt and Ad Astra. It's like, it's crazy. We thought, that's an obscure reference, but for people, they're going to be like, I just landed in a thimble from a high dive. We thought it was like an equipment malfunction the first time we did it. And then the second time it happened again, and we realized like, oh, he's just so calm that his heart's not actually picking up on the heart rate monitor, whereas mine, it was as if I was sprinting. Like when I'm doing these.
You truly are that. Here's the question, though. The big question is, which is really interesting for everybody who's fascinated, because it's a great show. You guys are so entertaining.
Oh, thanks.
And I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't also like going into dark buildings at night and routing around.
It's not fun.
Because, of course, we all know that ghosts come out if it's dark and at night, not during the day, because they have no capability of coming up at 9 in the morning at Starbucks.
They're like Dracula.
And by the way, it used to be with old cameras. You saw a lot of ghosts because of double exposures. With iPhones now, seems to.
Well, they've evolved.
They have evolved.
No, they know.
Science
They've
is
upped their
really
cloaking
bad at
technology.
disproving, at proving that something doesn't exist. Like, we've never seen Bigfoot, doesn't mean he doesn't exist. I mean, you can't really go there, right?
Yeah.
So definitively, is this series going to run forever? You're going to go to every haunt. Look at you. Yeah, that's a yes.
I mean, we have a great time doing it. And I've having done it for 8 years, you know, and I continue to have a great time. You know, we'll keep doing it
Until the day a ghost comes up to you and gives you like a little purple nurple on
be
camera.
incredible.
You're wedgie. By the way, you
wait
have
a
three
minute,
sponsors. You have
hold on.
sponsors. You have sponsors every
You and your
episode.
Sponsor questions.
Do the
He's so
sponsors
jealous.
wait? Do the sponsors
He's so jealous.
believe?
We have sponsors.
We have people. Good. All right. Good.
I listen to our show.
Good.
There's 2 commercial breaks.
No,
lots
but
of
they
people
do. These
yakking
guys
around.
come out and they sit and they do the ads terrifically. By the way,
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
buy in. They do it. They sit side by side like this and do the ads. I'm curious. Do the sponsors have to believe, or
That's
they
a
don't care.
stupid question.
They just have to believe in the views. That's all they have to believe in.
how dare you?
The guy that made the toothpaste that flung off the shelf.
I would be a sponsor.
He wasn't there. He'd
By the way,
still be a sponsor. He didn't have to believe in anything.
It fell. It fell. Because when you do a toothpaste thing, you know, it shifts. It shifts.
Okay, you're gonna
This
tell me
didn't
about
shift.
toothpaste?
This did
I
not
happen to be
shifted.
an expert.
Peter, this did not shift.
It
This
shifted.
this flung.
It didn't flame.
This isn't a
Didn't
matter
shift.
of gravity.
It's
This is a
a-
matter of
It's a
velocity.
viscous solution.
The ocean, open ocean. I know it's
This
not
is
open
docked.
ocean. I
This
know
is
it's
docked.
It's docked.
Look, can I ask some serious questions, please?
If you're capable,
Can you hold off on the sponsors?
May I?
for a moment?
This will be earth-shattering Nobel quality. Here we go.
All right. So the toys,
Yes,
the
the toys.
spirit box,
The
tools,
voice
the tools
box.
is what I call
All
them.
right.
The tools.
So sometimes the tools. I'm so sorry.
No,
I
it's
didn't mean
okay.
to
Just
denigrate.
don't let it happen.
Well,
I'm
see what
actually
you did
more on
already?
his side than yours, and I'm
See what you
denigrating.
did already? You talked the wrong and named the wrong thing.
The spirit box, the voice box.
Yeah.
So you ask a question, a thing comes back. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't. Sometimes if you don't Chiron it, I don't know what the hell I've
Exactly.
heard.
Right.
And I know the whole thing, the YouTube video about, you know, look at this sentence or look at this sentence and then listen to
Yes.
the thing
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you'll hear exactly what you want to hear. But what is the or your rational explanation for why we're hearing anything coming out of that box?
This well, there's the spirit box, which is like a radio scanner.
Yeah.
And that is up to human interpretation.
Sure.
Like it's just, you know, it's scanning the radio.
Like 5 channels per second.
I don't want to go too deep and too hard onto why none of this is.
No, you don't want to go deep and hard on a podcast.
It is
But is that the
essentially
scanner that's
pseudoscience.
also the white noise thing that it's doing that? Is that the same? Are we
That's
talking about
the
same device?
idea.
Yeah, and then the other one we use.
But wait,
is-
the scanner can pick up radio waves, so it could pick up
It picks up-
the
But
if
AM
it's-
radio station.
it
that has
does. It's fully. You
So
know,
there
you'll
you
hear
go.
Ricky Martin
so
on there.
it
and
could
they'll
be a
like,
guy calling
well,
in for tickets
he's
to
still
the
alive.
next Ricky Martin show who
Yeah.
says I'm dying for the, and you got
Ricky's
for the
touring?
tickets,
I
and you
got
picked up
tickets.
I'm dying.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay.
So that's how that works. The thought that the paranormal people believe is that ghosts are somehow manipulating what you hear.
Got it. Okay.
Like the energy.
Yeah.
That's the thought. But the thing is, I like the tools, and I think for believers they're very compelling.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that they may not be the most compelling for skeptics, which is why it's helpful to have him around.
Right.
And also, if we do see something that's more like with our own eyes, or if we see an object move, those are always my favorite pieces of evidence.
absolutely.
Or if we hear a voice and there's nothing there, which happens, has happened in the show, but especially this latest season, it has
Yeah.
happened.
There was in the upcoming season.
There's something that's crazy.
There's a lot of weird things, and I think one of the appeals of our show is that you know we've had episodes that are absolute stinkers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
nothing happens.
Right.
And we're like, well, we'll put that out. You know, that's an episode.
Well, that was me and my son. My son Noah and I. In New Orleans, they have do you want to go on a ghost research thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
There's a couple of
A deeply haunted city.
sites. And here
Do you remember where you went?
it's a place they go fairly often. It is a private home.
Lalaurie Mansion?
It couldn't have been a mansion. It has like an artist's grotto in the back, and there's a playground, and there's a
interesting.
thing. And apparently, it was if you believe what you're being told, it was a site that they've been looking at for several months and trying to take groups to. And there was only 5 of us, and they gave us the voice thing, and and they said, yeah, we're going to be here from 2 until about 3 from 10 at night until about 3 in the morning. Walk around, you can try and engage with something, see if you hear anything.
Yeah.
Please, if you see anything, you have a camcorder, you can do it. And, it began very creepy. He and I started with, I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there.
Yeah.
And 2 hours in, we're like, I don't care if something leaps out and kills me.
You're just like, show
I
me
want
this.
something to happen.
Anything.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, we did 5 hours to the point where we were like you, lying down on pentagrams
Yeah.
and going,
Yeah.
I
Please.
double doggy dare you to come and
At
smack
this
me
point,
across the
it
head.
would be the thrill of a lifetime for something like that to
Yeah.
happen.
But that all goes away when you're alone.
Yeah.
Well, but my son did do it alone.
Oh, wow.
He got so fed up with being
Amazing.
bored that he went. He's literally said, "I don't care if something jumps out and smacks me across the head."
Yeah.
And he went up to stuff that I went. I would rather not go up there. And he was like, "What?" And I go, he'd come back. I go, "What happened?" He goes, "More nothing."
How do you guys vet that? But that's a good point. I start out by saying, this is a very lucrative field. The
Yeah.
places that do that charge, a lot of people come through there.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of stories do you vet? When people reach out and say, could you go to Alcatraz because, is there a threshold of what you say, yeah, we should go there because it sounds interesting enough that something may happen here, as opposed to somebody just decided to put together a tour, call it the Hill House Tour, and make a fortune? What's the vetting?
Ryan does have standards.
No, it's thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You had a tone there, but I'll
Yes,
let
you
it slide.
did. By the way, you did.
No, we look at the history of it if there's an interesting story to tell, but also we look at just kind of the breadth of evidence that's been there before. Because a lot of these places, you're right, there's like a lucrative reason to do it. Right. There's money in saying that, like, oh, this place is haunted. We've had these things happen. Come bring your show here or whatever. But if there's multiple people that aren't the site themselves, which is why we ask our fans, like, hey, have you been here? Do you have evidence? And then we also look around the internet to see if there's evidence. Yeah, we could kind of verify whether or not we're being, we're at the hands of hucksters
Did
here.
you see the one, I don't know which episode it was, but I thought of you, the Jerry Mahoney doll head in the corner? There's a doll
Oh,
head.
yeah, St.
The
Ignatius.
ventriloquist.
Which one was it?
St. Ignatius. It was in Colfax.
St. Ignatius, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a doll, it's a Jerry Mahoney doll, if people know that, that's from like the 60s.
Yeah.
And the head was there, and you guys were arguing whether the head flopped or moved on its own.
Yeah.
Well, the head hooked itself back on, which I thought was interesting.
I know you thought that was interesting.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
This is it. This is the show.
Let me ask you that: Do belief in God?
I believe there's a higher power. I wouldn't say I'm overtly religious,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I'm like an atheist or anything
And
like that.
Shane?
I mean, not really.
See, I think a part of that, also could play. I'm
For sure.
more like you. I believe in
Yeah.
a creator. I don't necessarily believe in religion per se, or
Yeah.
that we're in direct communication with.
Yeah.
But I find that people who think there's nothing, they're not going for this.
No, but I when it comes to just the idea of ghosts in general, I often say that believing in ghosts is one of the most kind of optimistic things that you can actually do, because it's proof that there is at least something
right.
after you die. Right. Whereas like no belief in ghosts and just the idea that you disappear into a black void of nothingness is like so cynical.
Well, a huge number of people believe in afterlife, but not necessarily the God thing. And that's why I said one of the theories with COVID, or when there's the spiritualist movement came after the Black Plague. And when a lot of people die and people are looking for relief so they can connect with the dead one and kind of put things in their head in order, they're looking for that I can talk to. Although I still love, and we were doing it with a psychic, this guy who busts psychics. I love, because I did a psychic on radio for years. Yeah. I love that it's always one. I'm talking to your father. Does belt mean anything? A leather belt means. Like, when did my father become a moron? Did my father say, "I'm going to die and I'm going to screw with you"?
Did he wear a watch?
Egg salad. Did your father say egg salad? It's like, what are we talking, John? Really? My father's saying egg salad to you? That's it. That's one of the rules when you pass over. One word, maybe one word hyphenated.
Yeah.
Maybe you get that.
Right. There are people that will do what they have to do, which is why, like, I will say that one of the things that I pride ourselves on is that we do an honest show. And like Shane said, there are plenty of episodes where nothing happens. And those are usually the episodes when we goof off the most, because like we are lucky enough that like
we're bored.
Because we're bored.
They're great episodes. And what I love better than the episode even is your recap after the fact, when you're really on each other. You're really on each other for wasting each other's time, going, cutting up the tech.
We're not in the heat of the moment anymore, and we can really get mad at each other.
And is that a real set? What's that set?
It's in her office. It's in her office.
You built like pipes and stuff? Was it green screen or what is that?
Yeah, none of it is. No, it's a real.
No, it's a real bunker.
It's a real backdrop. Yeah, no, it's a fully
It's a real
bunker
that we go down several stories to get to.
That's all actual ghost hunting equipment.
okay.
We store the
He
spirits.
said condescendingly,
the
which means
souls of
talking
the
down
dead.
to.
in the Bugu containment unit. Everyone's in there.
Well, you
Queen's
guys-
in there.
Do you? Because I haven't seen enough of them to know. Do you not go where those other guys have gone, or do you ever find yourself?
We
I mean,
do.
The thing is, they've done hundreds of episodes.
Yeah.
And we tend
They
to
probably know the most, and I'm sure they're looking for the same kinds of sites that you're looking.
They
at.
are, and we do hear stories about some of the other competitive ghoster hunters, I suppose.
It's really great. It's really great to compare the two experiences because, like, if you watch, is it Ghost Adventures who
Ghost
went
Adventures.
to the bridge?
Yeah, to Goatman's Bridge.
There's a bridge in Texas called Goatman's Bridge, and when Ghost Adventures went there, you wouldn't believe what didn't happen. A man was allegedly thrown 40 yards. One of the guys started like choking himself, and he was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." And then we went there, and we're just like dancing around on the bridge. We walked away from that episode being like, "This is a real." This is one of the worst.
This one's going to be a real stinker.
And then people loved it. Like, it's one of our beloved episodes.
Well, it's because we were goofing around. We had to keep the episode going because we're like, I think people tune into the show, luckily, to hear the history and also kind of watch us goof around. And then if something happens, great. The idea that something could happen is enough. They're not there to get guaranteed paranormal
And
evidence.
it's entertaining and informational.
And you've
so
never
cool.
had the thing that Zach and those guys get where they go, man, oh my God, no, I need a moment here because it's like they're getting possessed or they're feeling a thing.
I want to say at a handful of locations, though, either you or like maybe one of our producers or directors will. I mean, it's happened a handful of times where someone will just be like, I kind of feel weird here. I'm getting like a weird sensation here, and it's happened so rarely that when it does happen, I'm like, all right, I buy that from you.
There's kind of like the innate sense that you're being watched sometimes, but a lot of places you walk in, you're like, all right, let's get to shooting. But when you're alone, my senses are at like 100 out of 10, and that's why it was helpful to have the heart rate monitor because you could actually get like quantifiable data.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. And it's part of it is that I have just enough. Maybe in me to, but the other part is I'm very suggestible. So if you say to me, this is a thing that happened here, it could happen again. There
may
could
start
be
choking
evidence.
yourself.
There could be thing.
Yeah.
It's dark. You're not seeing anything. So now go down there and just hang out. And,
Bingo.
And I would be, my imagination would start concocting things. I'm sure that would. I'm freaking myself out just going into the room. Doesn't have to do anything.
But the suggestibility of it is, like I said, when they say it's an architectural tour, people go in and look around. When they tell the second group, a person died here, and the thing, 5 out of 7 all of a sudden see stuff. We got to wrap up, but I got to know who gets the most pushback from the audience going,
I thought you were going to say money. Who gets the most money?
That's off the air.
Oh, okay.
No, who's the douche? You're a douche. You don't listen. How come? Do you get pushback? Do people get angry?
Oh, you mean from the audience?
Yeah, that you're either because you're not buying in, or do you get it because, oh, you're such a fool, I can't believe you're buying in? Is it people? I guess they're watching because there's an emotionality because people are on either side. So who gets the most pushback?
I mean, that's kind of the joy of the show is that we're able to do it with these sort of diametrically opposed viewpoints, and we're still friends. We don't get we have like our little quibbles, but we're pals. We have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that is what makes it fun for the audience, because I'll tell you what, before I started doing this, actually, even after I started doing the show, I don't watch any ghost hunting shows. Like, I have no interest in them because there's no one there. This sounds very conceited, like me. But it's.
So is that troublesome for the audience that believe?
No, I think it's good.
You don't ever get negative.
Not really, because the skeptics like me are like, I can watch this because I'm not bored out of my skull because I'm not watching people just be scared the whole time. And the people who believe are watching it and they see Ryan and they're like, I feel for him. And it's like, they don't get mad.
So when you go to see a horror film, Shane, or if you ever did something like Halloween Haunted Nights over,
love him. Don't get him started.
The jump out
stuff. I love him.
Yeah.
Are you a good audience for that stuff?
I have a great time with that stuff.
Yeah.
Horror movies.
I mean, do you actually like go? Not
really in like horror mazes. Similar to Ryan, I just like appreciate the artistry.
Because those don't scare me either. It's only actual like haunted houses that scare me. In fact, I set up an interview with him in a haunted house over at Not Scary Farm where I put his chair in front of a fake door. It was like hidden by a wall. And I had a scare actor pop out in the middle of the interview. You could watch the clip. He doesn't even flinch.
It's pretty.
Not even a little bit. And that's when I knew there's something wrong with his brain.
Because what I do when I go through the haunted mazes, I narrate the whole thing for myself.
Yeah.
And that way nothing can possibly scare me because I go, oh, I'm coming up to a corner. Surely something is going to jump out at me. They go, oh, sure it did. Yeah. There it is. I was expecting
you. That, or you'll get nervous?
Yeah, I don't like the. I don't like jump scares.
You know me. It's like when we went to the Blue Man show.
Yeah.
Halfway through,
I love the Blue Man group.
You're going to jump out. You're really going to jump out. This is it. This is the best you got.
Got scared of the Blue Man?
Not to blame it on this, but
Wait, we're here. We're going to talk about the BMG because I do love the Blue Man group. They're really good.
But I had all those years of martial art training where you're fast reacting, right? So if something jumps out at me, I tend to try and hit it.
You had a friend. You had a friend who got stabbed.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
At a small, rinky-dink,
a haunted house,
Seaside Heights, a haunted house.
Well, they really give you a fright there.
And he was very good at.
Oh, he was one of the scare actors.
He was working for the place, and his bit was this is how old it was. The scares where you'd walk through and you'd step on those old supermarket mats that used to open the door for you.
Yeah.
But here, if you stepped on it, something would light up, right? So he would wait, and somebody would step on it, would light up, and he'd be lying still like a zombie, a dead zombie in a tableau of something. And his thing was he could lie so still that everybody would go, oh, okay, and they'd be over it, and they'd start to walk away, and that's when he would jump at them, right? So from down the hall, I'm hearing this happen. Now I grew up from Jersey, so I'm allowed to pick on my Jersey friends, but I'm hearing like, I think that's real, Joey. I think that's a real guy. It's a fucking mannequin, Renee. It's a mannequin. I don't think so, Joey. I think that's the real guy. And the next thing I know, I'm hearing screaming, and my friend is chasing these two guys with a baseball bat. The guy, to prove it was a mannequin, took out his penknife and stabbed him in the leg.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God!
So yeah,
did he stay still even after?
No.
No, he chased him.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Blue Man, I'm hard to please when we go out to stuff, and Jason loves taking me to stuff because I'm appreciative, but somewhat unappreciative. If you want to tell from your perspective, we went to see the Blue Man group. First of all, I'll back it up. At the end of the show, because he's Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, they wanted to meet us.
Yeah.
So we take pictures, and they ruined. I don't have many expensive shirts. I got blue crap all over my shirt that didn't come out. And I'm thinking, these guys.
When I was a child, I went to that show, and I was in the first row without ponchos, and I got.
Splash from the drums,
got goo all over me.
Right.
And it ruined my shirt.
Ruined your shirt.
The
So the guy
Goo Man
hugs
group.
me, and I said to Jason, son of a bitch, this ain't coming out. And I said, the only thing is, he's going to die because he's eating it. So, they're putting it in their mouth and stuff. So the end of the show, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Vegas show, but years ago when I took Peter, one of the big highlights of the show is from the back of the theater. 1,000 tons of toilet paper.
It's so good.
Flying over the audience's head, and they're like,
it.
you pass it down.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. And I'm looking, and there's a strobe light that's going every 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? So every 2.5 seconds, I'm seeing two things happen. One, this sea of toilet paper is getting closer. And two, Peter is turning to me slowly to go,
Really?
to give me, really?
What is it?
Toilet paper?
What did we pay for these tickets?
Toilet paper? How much? $78.50 for toilet paper?
Three blue people with
Triple ply toilet paper, though. Triple ply. Triple ply. It's good stuff.
And I'm the kind of guy who goes, let's take some of this home. If we're paying for it, I'm taking it home.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, Blue Man Trip, it's a great show. Great show musically.
I love those
but,
guys. I love watching them drum.
They're good drummers.
Ryan's seen them like
They're very
5
good
times.
drummers.
Have you? Oh, really?
They're very good
wow.
drummers.
I'm really amused by them. I actually took a group of friends and I was like, you guys got to watch
I
these
think this is your
folks.
next show, The Unsolved Mystery of Blue Man.
And they hated it and they were like, wow, thanks for the show.
When we did our live show in Vegas, we tried to get a Blue Man to show up.
And?
It didn't
They don't
work.
talk.
They did not work.
They don't talk.
They picked up the phone and we were like, hello?
They don't talk.
Is there
They
anyone
don't
there?
talk. It's a fascinating show, though.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Well, just know, Peter and I are ready and standing by whenever you need us to go into the haunted spaces with you. We're there.
We might take you up on that
Have you
offer.
ever taken like a celebrity or a
No,
known
but we're
personality?
thinking of starting up something where
Yeah.
we will take some folks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And he'll freak out.
if you want to go, we
You
will
guys have
take
the
go.
dynamic. And I
I'll go.
think
I'll go.
You know?
Peter, would you go?
Yeah, if you do it, I'll do it.
We would be like the Scooby-Doo version of you guys.
We would split you up though. We would make you do it alone.
Okay, well, sure. What the hell?
Yeah.
Be careful what you
And
want.
I'm not looking for the walkie-talkie at the end. Let's put it that way.
Listen,
Yeah.
in my career, if I were to humiliate myself publicly, nothing has changed.
Ditto.
You would really do it, and you go. We'd separate, and you do it alone, no matter where.
I think I would do that.
I know you a long time. You're really suggestible.
But I don't know. You know, I watched the other guys with the respirators and the thing. You know, I go, what do they know that you guys don't know?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
raw dogging.
They're smart to do that.
No, yeah.
Depends where we go, but there's been a few.
I
We've
would go-
definitely
They're
shaved a couple
definitely
of years
raw
off
dogging
our-
the
I would go
asbestos.
if I got to wear the headset with the camera that's looking at you in the black and white, where your eyes are like white irises,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything looks creepy no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
You go,
Yeah.
And with the fisheye lens, your face
oh my,
particularly
the nose would be like
fantastic.
already
very
you could haunt
flattering.
people, and you go, I'm walking down the hallway. It's unbelievable. There's nothing's happening. I don't know why. I'm breathing so heavily right now. I can't believe it. So I would love to do that. Well,
I think it would be great
It'd be
fun.
fantastic.
I mean, I love being scared, and I'm like, I'm sure the cross section to both of you, where I go, I'd love. I stayed with my family at a house while I was doing a job that we think was. I mean, there was enough stuff that I went, well, that I didn't see the big thing that sent us out of the house.
Gotcha.
That didn't happen to me. But
You didn't
it
get the
happened to someone who
poltergeist
was working
moment.
for us. But I saw we experienced a couple of little things where I went, I don't know what that could be.
Yeah, sometimes.
And so I'd love to go.
Here we go.
Okay,
You
well,
got it.
Look
You
at
got it on
that.
tape.
There's something. There's
Yeah.
something.
And you know what? And I grew up in a row home in Philly with my grandmother, my parents, and my brother. I was as scary as anything I'm going to be exposed to. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Shane, thank you. Ryan, thank you. What's coming up? Anything new that they should be ready for?
We've got our new season of Ghost Files coming up.
Yeah.
Starting.
That's starting over in well, we haven't announced it yet, but it's in the fall.
Okay.
It's going to be in the fall.
All right.
And then we also have a new series coming out called Weird Wonderful World, where we basically travel around really goofy spots in LA. It's kind of like California Gold.
Yeah, old Huell Hauser
and
show.
which is why we have these,
Oh
these
my
silly
gosh.
mustaches on.
Yeah.
I love the Huell House. I'm here with a window washer. Now,
Louie.
you got what's that thing you're using? A squeegee.
How about that?
And you're using the squeegee to clean
Yes.
the window. And what's the water? You're
Right.
using water
And
a
then they'll do
squeegee.
3 minutes on the history of the squeegee.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That was,
and
but
you know
that's-
what? What'll happen? They'll get 3 million
8
downloads.
million. We're here.
And
And
we're here.
doing really,
Right. Yeah.
And by the way,
With no sponsors.
Really, no, really. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
No,
both
of course.
so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
They're like younger and better looking versions of us.
Everybody is like younger and better looking version of us. Damn, we should have done a ghost show, schmuck. Damn,
I
damn,
know.
and damn.
I know.
Is it too late?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too late. Like how too late? Like show me your hands.
Yeah,
How big?
yeah.
Like,
remember
dude,
that?
so
Remember
big.
that weird ad for the jeans? Travis, your year's too late. We never knew what it meant. That's us.
So big.
Yeah.
Does your grandson do so big yet? Every time so big. How much you love me? So much.
No, he hasn't got that. When he makes that gesture, he's saying "all done."
Oh, he
That's
does this
all,
all
done.
done?
All done.
So you're teaching him like
All
poker?
done.
Poker?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out. That's what you got to. You know what? If I had a grandson right now, I
Yeah.
would teach him all this stuff when his parents were away.
Yeah.
Like that, so they freak out, and he goes
All the croupier
all
moves.
the croupier moves. So they'd freak out. So when he's done
No
dinner,
more bets.
just that's what they're for, to mess
Yeah,
with them.
sure,
right?
sure.
Stephen
Absolutely.
Wright, another Stephen Wright was, I'm recording my grandson, so years later I can ask him what he meant. David Guggenheim.
The Ghostmaster.
Do you get scared from ghosts? Do you believe in ghosts?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, thank
Not
you.
Not
really.
even. Not no.
So I'm the only
I've been on
one.
the-
Yeah.
I'm the only one that gets a little nervous, huh?
Yeah, I've done the ghost tours and they're fun.
I love
and
'em.
Certainly, there's certain history, assuming that they're not telling you bunk as far as who was
Yeah.
living there or getting killed and that type of thing. But, yeah, no.
Yeah, I feel that way. So what do you got?
Well, some of the things that we all love about ghosts, of course, are ghost movies. And I just thought I'd do a quickie, and just since there was nothing to debunk about the episode, since it's all,
Sure.
hooey. But the top 5 ghost movies of all time were surprising to me. So here we go. Top 5. Number 5 is the Annabelle creation, not even the original one. It was the sequel. Number 4.
Wait. The Annabelle
I
creation.
have never heard of that.
I've never
Don't
heard
know
of
what
it.
that is.
Well, it was a movie. It was Annabelle. It was, ghosts and girls.
Huh.
I think it wasn't. I'm not.
How long ago?
And
What year?
the creation one was 2017.
What? Not even on my radar.
No, never heard.
David said it as if it's like Star Wars number 3. Annabelle creation. Okay. Oh, the Annabelle creation.
It made 300 million. So there you go.
Not of mine.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 4, The Conjuring. Have you heard
Sure.
of
Yeah, they
Yes,
did
I
a
do
series
know
of
The
those.
Conjuring,
Okay.
yeah.
4, and number 3 is The Conjuring 2.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
This is a big
Right.
thing. Number 2, of course, everyone's favorite, The Exorcist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I know.
And can you pick the number 1, the highest grossing
Ghost
movie?
Ghost.
Oh,
movie?
Ghostbusters.
No, Ghost.
You think Ghost? You think Ghost?
No, not Ghost.
Hold on.
not
Number 1,
Ghostbusters.
Ghost?
Ghost movie. Ghost movie. Is Poltergeist? Does that count?
That would be a ghost movie. Yeah. This one is, you do get to see dead people in it.
I see dead people. I see dead people. Is that it?
In it.
The one where it says I see dead people.
Oh, Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense.
Oh,
Wow, that's that big. How big is that?
That was in 1999, and that's $672 million.
Wow. I didn't know M. Night Shyamalan. I can never do his last name. Shyamalan,
Shyamalan, I believe.
Shyamalan. That movie
We'll
was
cut
that
that
big. It was no, leave it. I'm having a hard time with his name. I didn't know it was that big. It was a great movie.
It was a great movie. And, I know people who saw that movie and went, yeah, I knew 10 minutes in what was going on. I went, first of all, I don't try and do that with movies. I don't try and go, all right, what's going on? I'm going for the ride.
You're not a detective. You're not a detective when you go.
I'm not here to work,
I do like that too when people go, I can break out what's going to happen
my
next.
wife ruined a movie for me. Remember The Crying Game? I knew nothing about it going in. Nothing.
I fell asleep. No, don't tell me.
Right,
Don't
right.
ruin it. I'm kidding.
We're in The Crying Game. Jay Davidson, first shot, has 2 lines, and Dana leans over to me. She goes, "That's a guy." And it was, it was a.
By the way, David, when we edit these together, put the word spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
but I mean, and it turns out that was the critical plot point of that movie. But I did not know.
And you're
that.
not thinking of. You're suspending belief.
And I'm going on the story's ride and the character's journey, and she leans over and goes, "Yeah, it's like saying, blank blank is his blank blank from Citizen Kane."
I know, but that's like CSI Spielberg. Like who's doing it? You know what I always got used to get at the movie theater?
What?
I was always in front of the couple that does this. That's not the guy. No, it was a different guy. It was the guy with the hairdress.
Yeah.
The guy. I'm with the explainers.
Right.
The explainers.
Yeah.
No, that was a different woman.
Yeah.
She changed her hair.
Right. I get the repeaters. You'll never get out of here alive. What? He said you'll never get out of here alive.
Did that happen in theater? Have you ever had that when you're on stage?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you can hear it?
Oh yeah. And not only can you hear it, but at one performance, somebody went, "Louder!"
No, they did not.
Oh, sure they did.
And what do?
You
Go louder. Now, your tendency is to say, screw you. But on some level, you want to adjust, right?
I wasn't on stage. I wasn't on stage.
Oh, my God.
Louder!
Funnier. Be funnier.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
How about if I yell back, "More money"?
David, that's it.
We
We're
can
there?
all yell things.
I think that's the point where you wish that Patti LuPone was in your cast.
Oh, is she the best at theater as far as not taking any crap from anybody?
She, as far as I know, Patty has been most fearless about going, "No, I'm not going to accept these conditions."
She grabs
when
cell
there's
phones.
an
She's
unruly
done it. Yeah,
audience
yeah.
member, she will go, "No, stop. Everybody stop. You, sir, or ma'am, or whatever. No, out, gone. Remove this problem,
And
or
does she
I
get
don't
a standing
work here."
ovation every time?
I don't actually know, but I know, it's. I can tell you that we do I just did the play in Chicago. Every time there's an announcement, it is against our union rules. Don't take a photograph. Don't video any part of the performance. People are holding up phones every night.
All through the performance? Whenever?
No, but a scene here.
And
a
how
curtain
badly
call
does
here.
that distract? Have you ever gone up because of that?
I am oblivious for the most part. Unless it's happening in the first or second row, I can't really see beyond that. But I have castmates that can.
And it throws them
they'll
on.
come off stage in the wings and go, eighth row, there's a guy with a thing. And I go, wow.
You know what's really funny about that?
But more importantly, because it's a cell phone, it also means it's disturbing people in the
around you.
audience.
The thing that's interesting, because I do have misophonia, so I'm easily distracted by sounds, and I'm ADHD, which is the winning winning combination for focus. But McCartney, who's been performing for 50 plus years, said, like I think it was last year, when he's playing a stadium, the one thing that can really screw him up is if people hold up signs. If he said, I can't help myself, don't read them. But if I catch myself reading a sign, I don't know where I am in the song.
Right, yeah.
And he said, I lost it last year once because it was a decent sign, and I got caught, and I'm reading the sign, and I'm going, where am I in the song? So I'm really bad at that. I would be out of my mind.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It is hard.
Well,
it is hard. And some of the most, just to finish up on our topic, some of the most haunted supposed places in America is our theaters. There have been almost every Broadway theater is reported to have at least one ghost. And that is why we have the tradition of the ghost light. When a show, at the end of every performance, or when a show is closed, when a theater is dark and it doesn't have a show in it, there is one light stand with one light bulb that is on until the next people come in to start the next thing, or until the next day's performance. And it's called the ghost light. And it was to honor.
They still do it?
You betcha.
So
every theater I've ever worked in.
So who
across
pays
the
for
country.
that? The show that left or the show coming in?
No. But it is
Seriously,
a
the
tradition
theater owner has to pays for that? The electricity to keep the light on?
Yeah, it's one single.
And do people freak out if it goes out?
No, it's not a supernatural thing. But you assume that there are spirits in this theater that that this is a hallowed place in some ways, and that there are spirits here. And you leave the light on so that those spirits never feel that you've abandoned them, and that you'll be back to continue the performance. It's kind of wonderful, but I tell you, if you ever, if you're alone and you walk into an empty Broadway theater and it's just the ghost light on the stage, you go, wow.
They all have it. They all do that.
You betcha. Not only Broadway, every theater I've ever worked in across the country.
That is cool.
They leave a ghost light.
Really?
No, really.